Welcome to your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored today and all this week by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make confident business decisions. Hello again from the ARF Conference in New York. As one would expect, the immediate reaction to the appointment of Gayle Fuguitt as the new president and CEO of ARF was a complete thumbs up. The annual conference seems to have its typical solid attendee numbers, and the association is in very good financial condition thanks to Fuguitt's predecessor. But that doesn't mean that Gayle doesn't face some significant challenges, and she's the first to acknowledge that. Among them, in my opinion, is that the ARF annual meeting is in need of a revamp. When I scanned the presentations on tap for this meeting, frankly, nothing stood out to me as something I just had to hear. Many attendees told me after the first day how unimpressed they were with what they had heard and seen from speakers. And that's unfortunate, especially since most of the presenters are paying to speak. ARF taking the time to review the subject matter of each speech, specifically offering suggestions here and there focused on the content for solutions to clients and agencies' real problems, plus a catchy title here or there, would all help. It may also be time for a change of venue. The Marriott Marquis is a very, very good hotel, but attending this conference year in and year out at this same location is wearing thin on regular attendees. ARF's annual conference is important to the industry. It's the second or third largest audience attendance draw for all market research conferences held around the globe. So it does have high expectations. Gayle Fuguitt is going to be embarking on a tour of ARF members when she takes over April 15th. From all her friends and acquaintances around the industry, I'm sure she's going to be offered a lot of valuable input. I'm also sure, knowing Gayle as I think I do, that she's going to know how to implement those. By the way, small correction from yesterday's RBDR, Gayle Fuguitt is not the first client-side researcher to head the organization. That distinction belongs to Mike Naples, who headed it up from 1981 to 1996. If you're watching, Mike, sorry about that. Even ARF's press release, by the way, misstated that fact. Finally, we spoke to Day 3 ARF keynoter Matthias Hartmann, the CEO of GfK, about his first year at the helm, the company's new business model and how it's been performing, big data, and the daunting speed of change in research and how GfK is trying to combat it. So, Matthias, you've been on the job now for 15 months. You came from outside the market research industry. Is the industry different in your mind from the way you perceived it when you first came on board?
Well, first of all, I think you're right. I came after 25 years in the technology and consulting industries, which are also people and services type of industries, however, fusing it with digital. So I think coming into the industry, indeed, the industry's dynamics are changing. We have more and more data sources. Consumers are using every gadget they can get in their hands. I think this has an impact on how we as a market research industry do our job for our clients.
Mm-hmm. But is your perception personally different of the industry than it might have been the first day you walked into the office and took over GfK?
I think it is a little bit, because if you come as an outsider, you have an advantage and you have a disadvantage. The advantage is you can look from the outside. You see some developments over the past years where you ask yourself, is that the right direction? So you have all the credit to say, look, couldn't we do this differently? The disadvantage is you do not know all the details. Obviously, after 15 months, I think I got my hands around that one quite a bit more.
Okay. Now, the business model for GfK changed during 2012. How has that worked out?
Yeah, you know, we have really introduced a new strategy for GfK. We are very global with regard to 100 countries that we do business in. However, we needed to knit it together to be more holistically focusing on how to scale our products, how to harmonize some of our products. That has gone quite well in the first year. The other angles, I think, are really merging much more of data sources that we either own or that we want to be integrating to work with our people in the market research field. So fusing a people-based business model with a data and technology-driven business model.
Okay. Let's switch the subject to big data for a minute. Is it more than just, a nice phrase that the industry is using it with no real practicality, or are there clients out there that are actually making hay with it?
Look, of course it's a buzzword and marketeers like to throw out buzzwords. We have to be aware of that. But let's look at some of the facts. Indeed, if you look back into our industry, there have been consumer panels for 18 years. There has been retail tracking for 40 years. Then came online. Then came social. Now comes mobile. I think there is much more data around there which truly needs integration. For our clients, however, I don't think it's about big data. I think it's about smart data to really rip out from these various data sources the right level of information and integrate it.
So for each client, it's going to be a very customized type of effort.
For each client, I think it is very specifically what's the type of information that they need. There are some commonalities, however, right? I mean, we will be opening up the mobile data source for GfK with our new GfK Mobile and Location Insights products. This is huge data. But again, we have to find the way of what is the meaning of that. How do we integrate it with other sources like our consumer panel data? How do we link it with our TV audience measurement data? I think that will be the interesting piece in the industry, to get it all together and understanding a consumer.
Okay. I have a great deal of difficulty keeping up with all the change going on in the industry, the technological change, the methodological change, and frankly, that's one of the things I'm supposed to be reporting on. And it's inundating to me. For a company the size of GfK, it would seem to me that you guys would have at least a little bit of a struggle keeping tabs on everything that's changing and all the new opportunities are out there to improve your services for clients.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think nobody can claim in the industry. Innovation is coming so fast. Technology advancements are coming so fast. What we are trying to do, though, is to link it together with what we call innovation teams. So we have been changing a little bit our hiring profile. Besides more classical market research skills, we have been bringing in more technology skills, we have been bringing in more data-related skills. Marketing sciences, data sciences is something we have been investing in a lot. So I think you need different types of people so that you can relate it together, but I am with you. It's a challenge for every company, including GfK.
You know, I personally think that there's an unbelievable opportunity out there for some organization to figure out how to use all the tools in the toolkit and to be able to explain it to clients. A lot of money to be made either in dollars or Deutschmarks or wherever you want to look at it. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I think one of the areas that you hear a lot on these conferences is like, how do we represent our findings? How do we package it up in a way our clients can understand it? And this lingo thing goes on internally as well, and so we have to educate our people to really stick setting a context, understanding an industry, understanding a client. The tendency in our industry has always been to talk methodology and to talk terminology. We must speak our clients' language, and I'm a big promoter of that thought.
That's your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make confident business decisions. Have a great research day. There'll be no RBDR on Thursday as we travel back to Chicago, but we will see you all on Friday.